Hi guys, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. Before I get started, this video is dedicated to Joel from Forge Solutions. This video is going to be about the 3 items you will want to have with you if the worst happens. If you ever find yourself in a situation that is so bad, so serious that you have to leave the country behind, leave everything behind and start all over somewhere else. And hopefully you follow some of my advice in terms of networking and having another option in terms of leaving the country and starting elsewhere. Hopefully you've talked with some of your family, you've contacted friends, family abroad that may help you out. If that happens and you have to leave everything behind, these are the 3 items you will want to have with you. If not, it's going to be either very difficult, or even impossible to do so. Again, guys, I always talk about personal experience. I prefer to base my survival and preparedness on that. I've gone through a bit more than what most people have gone through, I suppose. And I know there's lots of advice and lots of stuff out there online about survival and preparedness because it's a very hot topic these days, and there's you have lots of survival shows and such. The thing is, not all of it is good advice. Many of it is just a lot of it is just good entertainment, which is still good. It's still great if you have good entertainment, but problem is when people don't understand that it's not really practical, or it's not actual proper advice. I suppose you will not find anyone doing a video like this. I suppose there are many videos like the ones I've done before, like my previous one on EDC stuff. Lots of people will have similar type of videos. You will probably not see this sort of video elsewhere. It's what I've gone through, okay? It's what I did when I decided to leave my country behind, Argentina, because it was just too dangerous for us. The standards of living had gone down significantly. We didn't want that life for us. We didn't want to keep living that way. And even though we were planning on going to US instead, we ended up making some other decisions, which we are very happy with it. Again, it's not a matter of luck, okay, guys? You don't end up doing this and landing on your feet because of luck. You do it because of proper planning, because of lots of information gathering, lots of research, and coming to a conclusion that is acceptable to what you want. You're not gonna be doing what we did and out of pure luck end up okay. You have to really put some effort into it. Why this video? Why these 3 items? Continuing a bit with the philosophy of my other previous video on EDC and such. What is it that I remember when I was in that cab, in that car, driving towards the airport, leaving everything behind, everything. You know, guys, those of you that have been following my blog, my forum, and even the channel, you know how important, how I talk always about gear and stuff. Now, that's all stuff, okay? You never have to lose perspective of that, okay? It's great. Sometimes it's impossible to do without it. All right, but you never have to forget that the most important part it's you. It's what's in your head, your skills, your mentality, your attitude. People that have gone through very tough times will always tell you that it's the most important thing. Having said that, there's things you just cannot improvise, and this is what I remember myself being in that car heading to the airport and thinking, okay, I just have to make sure to I remember thinking, you know what? I just have to make sure to get to the airport on time, everyone's safe, and having at least these 3. If we lose a bag, if we lose a suitcase, I just have to make sure we have these 3. And I had these in my pockets as we were leaving. I didn't have, for example, a firearm with me. I wouldn't be able to take it anyway. All right. So even though, thank God, and I was lucky enough to have good companionship, good friends that helped me out in those days, and I was heading to the airport having friends, my circle of friends around me when we were leaving. This is basically it. What I wrote about this last year in 2011. I wrote an article called Gun Passport credit card, and a wad of cash. That's basically what you need to get you out of most problems. So this is basically that, with a little variation and not having the firearm. But this is what I remember in that moment, in that vehicle, heading that morning to the airport. I couldn't be able to improvise in a moment of notice having passports. I couldn't have done any of this without having the money and the credit cards to start over elsewhere. I couldn't have done it without some very important information that I have here. So I want to talk a little bit about these 3 items and tell you a little story of each probably. So hope you have a few minutes so as to go along with it. If you notice, most people don't have some of these. There's surprisingly many people that have huge amounts of gear. They have the bucket bags, they have their combat loads, and lots of stuff. They don't have something as simple as a passport. All right, maybe they have the passport from their own country, US or wherever that is that you're from. They have maybe a relative in the old world that they could have gotten a second citizenship if they had invested a little bit of money and time into it. And lots of people having that option have not done this. All right, having gone through it, I can honestly tell you that it's your most important skill. No, it's not a skill. Your most important asset. That's actually the word. The most important asset you can have during the worst possible time is this: having a second option, having a second country to go to and play as local, have a second citizenship. If you have your grandfather or someone in your family from Italy, from Spain, from Germany, from England, if you have any way of getting a second citizenship, I can only tell you to do it. I can only advise you to do it as soon as possible. Don't waste time. Don't waste time, especially on things that you may think are more important, but it's actually more fun or easier to do and not as boring as going through all this crap you need so as to get a second citizenship. But this is more important by all means. And this is something that I have learned from my grandfather. My grandfather was the one that bothered and nagged us and actually dragged my butt to the embassy so as to get it, because he knew how important it was. Okay, he knew how important it was because he himself had to leave Spain during the Civil War and had to start over in a country where he wasn't local. He had to start over in a country such as Argentina where he wasn't a citizen, and he suffered for that. So he knew, because of his almost 80 years of life experience, he knew how important this was. This other passport, the Argentine passport, was always also difficult to get, as stupid as that may sound. The thing is, Argentina is a complicated country. At the time that I was getting it, supposedly the problem has been solved, but at the time I was getting it, there was huge delays on getting a passport. I had to travel, and I needed it, and I was looking at months worth of waiting. I actually had to pull a few strings, some of the things that I mentioned in my book. This one, Surviving the Economic Collapse, the Modern Survival Manual. There's a chapter here where I mention about networking and learning to get by through some bureaucracy, or pulling a few strings and such. A lot of that which I wrote about, I had to use once again for getting this passport that you see here. Lots of talking, lots of seeing who could help out, what is it that they wanted for that help. I don't know if you get what I mean, what I'm going for. I had to do that so as to get it in time, because if not, I wouldn't have gotten it. So if you are in such an advantage that you can get this without so much problem, and especially, again, a second citizenship anywhere that you can get one, anywhere that you can get a second citizenship, don't let that resource go to waste just because you don't want to waste the time to get it. The money for it, the money for starting over, of course, a wad of cash and your credit cards. Wherever it is that you go, you're going to be needing both. I know that credit cards are problematic. I know for a fact that when an economy collapses, they're not going to be accepting your credit cards. But that's not a reason for not having them. I know that it's one of the reasons why so many people end up in huge debt because of credit cards and their misuse. Yet at the same time, there are maybe the little bit of plastic that gives you the most options. So you still have it. You still need it, and you need it for renting a car, for getting a room in a hotel in most places. You need it whenever you go into a new bank where you never set foot before, and you want to open an account. Who are you? I mean, you have your passport, but did you ever do business with any bank at all? Do you have any, what's your financial situation? You're a grown-up person, just walked into a country and you want to settle there. You have to have something to show for yourself, all right? You will need all your documents, all your financial history so as to show for it, right? That's where the information that fits in a USB drive comes to play. The copies of some of your important documents, scanning your IDs, scanning your birth certificates, your passwords, the stuff for your bank, for your insurance, all that stuff. It's gonna be you will need it with you. All right. What else? A video of your home and your belongings, in terms of insurance, in terms of home insurance and robbery insurance, in case something happens to it. It really helps out if you have a video of all that. Now, at the same time, it's very delicate information, so as to put it in any thumb drive. It's the type of information that if you lose it, it can indeed ruin you financially. So it has to be kept safe. This is an Iron Key. It has some of the best security around. People are not going to be able to break into it. All right. I did a review about the USB drive, the secure drive by Victorinox. It has a thumb detector. It detects your fingerprints for activation. That's also a great secure drive as well. The Iron Key is also very good. Okay, so that's the type of thing you want to be able to have with you when you leave. Also, your work stuff, your documents, everything that you have in your computer. You'll need a backup. Even if you're taking your laptop with you, you need a backup as well. Something that you can hold on to it. I also, of course, we left with our the hard copies of birth certificates and other important papers. We had them with us in this little bag you see here. Okay, something that was close, nearby, small, with all that very important information, all those documents. So that's basically it, guys. You just need these three, and lots of people don't have them. Lots of people don't even have a simple passport, and you cannot leave your country without it. So since lots of folks are already interested in it, make sure you have these. Make sure you have these and explore the option of a second citizenship. Folks, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you a couple more ideas for your preparedness, your own planning. And thanks for subscribing and keeping watching the videos. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.